Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have a knockdown drag-out fight between myself and Heinz. I'm playing as Yugoslavia and, well, we'll see what the Blue 4 player is playing as soon as we do make contact. Just to start off the match, I do have an L-17K going forward. I like to use this guy to sort of screen for enemy helicopters, and if you've seen me play by now, you probably know this is a very common maneuver. Sometimes a bit of a waste, but I tend to find when it's not, it can very much end games very quickly. So, other than that, I do have some units headed up toward Boris and over toward Gregory as well, and it is going to be an Israel deck from my opponent. So Tefaiz and Siphons leading the way, and I have a habit of doing this, I guess, ever since it was done to me by Operation Enduring Freedom in what was a very lopsided match, but I'm trying to take the woods near Gregory. L-17K does manage to take out Tefaiz, but incoming fire from something, two somethings by the look of it, and down he goes. So not a worthwhile trade. 90 points lost on the L-17K, while 70 points gained off of the Tefaiz, and there is still a Siphon. I wasn't able to go around and get him because he was actually landed by Heinz, so very, very specific, very accurate micro from him trying to avoid that helicopter hunter. However, the M84AN on my side is going to be getting some nice shots on Hera 2 as well, and an M84A on this side, but I didn't really expect what I should have probably expected, which is going to be these two monsters right here. Double stack of Merkava 3Bs, wonderful armor, wonderful gun, 10 rounds a minute, just brutal, brutal work being done by those guys, and you can already see my Brdskaya Pez are kind of struggling. I don't have anything on this side that can hit them, and nice smoke micro by my opponent is going to make it very challenging for any sort of plane or helicopter to take him out without first dismantling everything else, which is going to be very hard because there's a mock bet there, and I'm willing to bet right now, excuse me, willing to bet right now that there's ATGM teams headed up and into the town as soon as it's going to be secured, so very nice screening force. Mock bets, of course, are very capable, and my Brdskaya Pez aren't quite able to make it into the woods there without being shot to bits. However, on the right-hand side, we have a bit more luck right now. Proletary, just cheap, well, not too cheap, but 15-point shock infantry, so the cheaper version of shock infantry, meant for woods fighting, meant for infantry-to-infantry fights where armor is not really going to be a big deal. And you can see right now the Tiron 5 Blazé, same thing as used by Lullaby the other day, is going to be getting some very nice, very accurate fire in on this formation. But we are returning it a little bit as well, so I do have Brdskaya Pez using those recoilless rifles, but not super great effect. Looks like 2 shots, 5 points of damage, and this side has pretty much been surrendered as I did lose my M84. Where's this carcass? Ooh, interesting. No, it's not there. Those are transports. Well, my M84A was killed. The M84AN, sorry, is retreated back toward Gregory, and at this point I'm kind of panicking. I have very little in fetters, so we're going to get some recon infantry out there, also bringing up a mortar that I should have deployed in the opener, and I didn't. And now we have an attack through the forest. So Rova 890, of course, very cheap, 10-point infantry. They remind me a lot of Yekuri 90, and particularly in better versions of the transports, right? Because these Zeldas are going to be 5 points each with 3 guns and 2 frontal armor. It's a little bit better than the options that Finland can bring to the table. But Merkava 3B, taking out my OAT M60 PVs that I was trying to use to get fire support on the side of that advance. And even though we are moving relatively far forward, I'm not too comfortable with this. So Proletary, of course, can't handle armor. We do have a forward position here, but artillery could very well mix that up. And I was trying to avoid the classic getting shelled on this side of Boris by holding that forward position. But I don't know, it might not have been worth it. In the meantime, however, M84ANs and BDV, yes, BDV M86, you can see how much I use this thing, not very much at all, are just probing forward. I was hoping that I might be able to get some vulnerable units caught out and killed on that side of the map, and indeed we do have that. M84AN, of course, both of these units, rather, recon units, so we are getting some good spotting. Rova go down, Hammer might eventually die to this guy, it's a little hard to say, but there are more reinforcements coming in from Heinz, head toward those woods, and this was the point where he said to me, I think, yeah, you don't want to fight against Israel in the woods, it's not going to end well for you. But, you know, Yugoslavia has some tools. Of course, Proletary are going to just buzzsaw through Rovai because of the additional training, and I think the M72 is not the worst tertiary. It's not the best, it's far from the best, but I'm not sure how it compares to the FM Max. So, with superior training, of course, it will be a little bit better just because it's both the base stats and the training that matter. But, okay, so take a look here. I was thinking, if I can get incremental value in Fetter, then secure Fetter, if I can keep some sort of forward hold in Boris, I mean, that's a winning solution right there. Unfortunately, the Merkava 3B is now over and into the woods, and my Proletary do not have the strength to handle that, particularly when they're shooting at Rovait instead of shooting at the Merkava. So one unit is killed pretty much right off the bat, and the other Proletary should be moving back right now, but they're not. Oh man, mistakes made everywhere. But Greniciari and more Greniciari and Gurskaya Pez might be able to hold here, the retreat almost being cut off by the Blue Fort player, and I mean, it's just such a cheap advance too. So 20 points in infantry, 10 points in Zeldas, and this is why it sucks to fight Israel in the woods, because that 30-point group is the same as one of my double stacks of Proletary, let alone the 10-point transports I'm bringing in to support them. So a lot of points there. I'm trying to use my mortar to get some fire on the Rovait, and I think we do start hitting them soon. Shaken, no actual damage yet, and those Zelda's guns are so loud. Damn, that's why I keep zooming out and away, even though I want to show that sort of combat, just because if I can hear it and it's starting to annoy me, I can only imagine it's getting you guys as well. So I could turn the sound effects down, but when they're nice, they are nice to hear. So the one nice thing about the Oats is that they will tend to outduel a Zelda, and yeah, there are 3 guns there, and that will get a couple stuns, but the recoilless rifle here, I mean, I have 3 guns too, and one of mine hits a lot harder than a Browning. Unfortunately, horrible base accuracy when they are panicked, so that is going to be a problem. I should have split this group up, but I mean, how often do you think about splitting up M60PBs? So if the answer is way too often, then you're probably higher ranked than I am, but Zelda is moving in, and we do have ATGMs firing from the town, confirming what I kind of suspected already, and that is going to come back to bite us later on. I'm going to speed up just a little bit. We do have reinforcements coming in, and this time I'm not screwing around. We're bringing them in M96 Vidras. 25 points, these are the top-of-the-line Vidras, and maybe a little bit pricey for the performance. Of course, not the best armor on these guys, but a wonderful secondary gun, and the Matyukas as well are pretty nice. So we do find, fortuitously, some Rovait 90 headed over that way, and the Vidras tear them to pieces. Just beautiful, beautiful work here. Proletary 90 this time around, so we do have those Sturgeon? Yeah, best I can come up with for that. Sturgeon missiles, they're kind of like Apollos' 20 rounds per minute and 24 AP power, of course, matching where the Apollos is used by Red 4 troops in other places. However, artillery is coming out, and look at this. Stunned, killed, Graniciari dying, Britskaya Pez dying, my other Britskaya Pez being spotted finally by something from Heinz over on that side. Looks like more Rovait, and damn if he didn't lead the way with those men. I wonder if he had any left in the deck by the end of this game, but I mean, hey, right now it's getting the job done. I've been pushed back in Boris. I'm still in Boris, and the Proletary 90 combo will be very hard to push out, but the advance toward Anna is lost. Heinz is taking at a +1, having secured Anna and Sheraton, and my own hold on Feder is not exactly great. So at this point I was feeling a little nervous. It was one of those where I was sitting there going, okay, how do we adjust? How do we get some things going a little differently to try to get some better value here? My push through Gregory has failed, but that doesn't mean that I have to give up on that zone, and even if I do, okay, well if I can cap Boris, that's Boris and Gregory are the center zones on this map, so they can sort of trade. And now you can see the incremental value plan on Feder sort of going into action. So here are 2s using their rocket pods against Rovait and some Zeldas. And we have spotting from the M84 ANs, and moving up from Graniciari as well, so I'm trying to just get as many eyes as I can on this problem zone, and just try to force my opponent out of it bit by bit by bit. But Britskaya Pez and Rovait are, I mean, this duel is not going to go well as soon as my opponent's fire support comes online. 5 down to him, and these guys are very expensive, 25 points. If you see an injured group and you think you can kill them, they are definitely worth taking the effort. We do also have some smoke coming in. There wasn't a lot of airplane play by this point by my opponent, but of course Israel does have wonderful jets and bombers and ATGM planes and the like. So I did want to keep a damaged M84AN alive as long as I could. And now you can see what I mean as well. Britskaya Pez are encountering Rovait 90, they're encountering a Merkava 3B that's pre-screened by smoke, making sure just to bring the woods with them to avoid my planes. And I think I'd already brought out, apologies for the train, I think I'd already brought out Assyria once at this point, I'm not really sure. But yeah, Heinz and I have played together a couple times before, and he definitely knows that I'm a little overzealous with those sorts of things. So Merkava 3B's moved up while it's useful, and moved back now while it's not. And this was a bit goofy, so artillery pounding away, Rovait and Merkavas. I don't have anything left in here, but yeah, better safe than sorry, right? So very nice artillery strike followed up by the infantry and tank push. So on this side, the M84AN and Granicieri able to take out those Tsanahim and a lot of Rovaid, and I was starting to feel a little bit confident that we could at least secure this town, well, this side of the woods here, and that will give me a nice line of fire onto his resupply. So if anything goes around this side, I might be able to take advantage of it. We do also, just keep in mind, this is the same map where I had that guard your flanks video a while back. That's what the Heritus are doing, so I'm not ignoring that even now. And it was interesting how long this Heritu could be up this far. It kind of told me Heinz maybe doesn't have the best scouting. We do also nail a Machbets, the M84AN, killing that, well, relatively cheap but very powerful radar AA piece, and now Zelda's taking fire, but look at that. Still 1 health left. 2 side armor really pays, and you don't always think about it, but if it wasn't there, that Zelda would be a dead tank. And we are able to just barely dodge a couple of AT jams out of the woods there. I think we probably got the line of sight block with the smoke here. And now I'm going to be trying to do something that I've had done to me many a time, but isn't usually my go-to tactic, and it probably should be for more things. So M84AN's killing some Zeldas, but I'm just prepping a bit of a push here. Double M91 Vihor, not the expensive one. These guys are 130 points, and they will struggle against the 3B Baz. Yeah, so they will struggle against Israeli tanks. That's sort of a given. My hope is that I can use a screening force, just nice, cheap infantry, headed up into Gregory to sort of draw fire while the M91 Vihors get some good work done. But my M84N down to AN down to 4 shots left, so we are going to be bringing in a resupply vehicle and just waiting for reinforcements to get in. So let's sort of speed things up a bit. I was smoking these woods, and you know, I really can't tell you why, because it's not like it helps me at all to have his stuff hidden, and it's not like it even hides it that much more if it's already in the woods. We are getting pushed back a little bit, so Rove and Zelda's pushing forward there, and Garniciari are dying. We also do encounter the Blue Fort troops here, and Brodskaya Pez like to be at longer range than this. This is probably a bad place to put them, because they are just line infantry. So in terms of, I mean, yeah, 15 strength versus 10, but the Rove will punch above their weight in terms of cost when they're dealing with Brodskaya Pez. However, we do have a nice response from artillery already, so not the best position as the first group was killed, but I think, well, I don't know, we got a couple shots off. Smat Bow of 30 in a very, very hazardous position as there is a big tank right across the way, and now some answering artillery is stunning and killing some Brodskaya Pez. You can see now I am sort of realizing this is the wrong position. Proletary 90 moving up to use those short-range Striljans, or Apolos, I guess, and the Brodskaya Pez should be moving back here real soon, so I don't know, I was trying to make the best of it. M84AN's back here, no more recon infantry left in this zone, but, well, you know, I think it was okay. We definitely got a lot of good kills, and if I can do it again, I don't know why, but my opponents seem to only be grabbing onto this with infantry, which is a bit weird because if you can get nice sight lines across that open section, it's relatively easy to hold. So you put a heavy tank here, maybe you put some scout vehicles there, and do spotting across. But now we do see, so this is the Israeli tank. I do lose some transports and some proletary, but 2 shots off, half dead, and immediately retreated. So nice micro, nice control there by my opponent. My Super Gallop's just a little bit late on the uptake, so if he had been a little earlier, if the Vihors hadn't shot quite when they did, and that tank had still been there, we might have gotten a good kill. But it did force him back, and now the proletary, I mean, this is a lot of very dispersed targets, and these guys will still outduel Rovai pretty well because they are shot training. So, I mean, I was thinking if a couple of them can get up and into those woods, we might be able to do something. Here's the tank out the back, and unfortunately my Super Galad was still refueling. So, even if they don't fire, it does take a non-zero amount of time for them to get back out. And nice smoke by Heinz as well, so he's just retreating back behind it over and over and over again, and that 3B is going to be able to get out alive. However, the second one is spotted. Now we see one down on the low ground, one on the high ground, and Proletary 90 are immediately moved forward. So the Striljans, the effectively Apolos, should be able to kill that guy at close range, and I have the training on these units to potentially be able to survive it. So M91 AV Horse and Super Galad comes in, gets the Merkava 3B on the low ground, and now we have the one on the high ground, Proletary 90 opening up, and side shot. So, I mean, this very well could have not worked if the enemy units had been able to shoot just that little bit more, but the side shot on that big old tank there was the reason we were able to get it. So if it was reverse moved back the other way, probably wouldn't have been able to get him. We do also spot the Oxidate Preclude here that has been counter-capping in Boris for a while, giving my opponent a +1, 80 points to 76, so very, very close. But once he spotted that Oxidate Preclude is moving back, and if Gregory hadn't just been capped, we actually would have been gaining points there, but yeah, it's a bit rough. In the meantime, Proletary do get to the woods, and OM60PB is leading the way as well. So I was hoping, yeah, there were ATGMs here, but ATGMs won't shoot infantry. If I can get them across the open field and out to that town, that could be good. And I still have the V-Hors, where are they? Double stack of V-Hors, yeah, up here. Just the idea was, if there's an enemy armor push across this way, I might be able to get some good supporting fire online there. However, more mortars opening up, and these are the good Israeli mortars. They do a surprising amount of damage to stationary infantry. You have to watch out for it. Auxiliary Preclude spotted, Proletary moving up toward him, and M91 V-Hors able to get the kill. But nice answer, unexpected answer as well. Sefid B is coming in, pounding my Proletary, and everything in the open ground is going to be just dead meat. Spatbov not quite close enough to get it, and my Oreo that I sent after those guys was killed, so not really the best choice there. Spatbov 30, yeah, I mean, if he gets close enough, that'll do some pretty good work. 55 points though, and Spatbov's taken out as well, so a nice trade there for my opponent, unfortunately. I was very unhappy with that. However, Feder is being pushed up again, and this time I have a couple of Vidras, I have some Proletary 90. I was trying to make sure that there wasn't any sort of heavy tanks or heavy vehicles that would stop Proletary or a lighter push. My Vidra's taken out, but L17K coming in does get the safe of B, so just barely. Actually, no, did he? Damn, no, the thing's still alive at 2. Yeah. Well, not exactly worthwhile, but I did my best. At least he's hurt. And those are the sort of trades I need to really stop making, because they're definitely sort of the bane of my existence here. So, we'll see. But a lot of the Proletary now stunned. A nice follow-up from artillery again, and I don't have enough AA in this deck forward anyway, but this is why I said these Vidras are amazing. So, opening up and killing that Sefid B very quickly, very, very quickly indeed. And yeah, I mean, it's 25 points per vehicle, but if you can support a push with them, if you can get them going in a pretty good direction, it can definitely be worthwhile. Shooting at the Tier 5, Merkava 3B also moving back, it looks like, killing one Vidra, but Proletary 90, Proletary, more Proletary, and we do spot an Auxiliary Preclude. He is moving back, and I'm going to have to chase him, which is not ideal. But we do clear Boris for a little while. Tier 5 Blaze getting shot at by the 2 M91 V-Hors, and the Merkava 3B getting way too close on the high ground. So this is something I thought maybe the V-Hors will be close enough they can get some good shots here, or if I had another plane up, but my Super Galeb was still refueling and rearming, and that Merkava 3B is retreating towards smoke. So no joy there. But Gregory's uncapped. We did kill the Auxiliary Preclude in Gregory, so we are ticking actually at a +2. So Boris is ours. Anna was decapped. It turns out there was actually an Auxiliary Preclude farther up than I would have expected, capping Anna, so in response to the Proletary 90 moving up, that unit was pulled back. But this does allow us to take the lead, so 89 points for Heinz, 113 for myself, and ticking at a +2 was pretty comfortable. Yeah, nothing to rest on your laurels type deal, but I was at least not sad about it, and Proletary 90 do kill one of the Auxiliary Precludes as he's moving back. But that is going to make that unit spotted by Sefid B, actually 2 Sefid Bs, and look at that carnage. Just, geez, so many rocket pods. It reminds me of this movie. The guy said, why are you so angry? And I was just sitting there going, yeah, okay, Sefid Bs, why are you so angry? What did I ever do to you? Then I realized I killed one of his Auxiliary Precludes while he was retreating, so that's what I did to him. Okay, a couple units of Zeldas, and this means more infantry, probably more Rovait, and my opponent was at this point kind of saying, where the hell is your command vehicle? But this is where he was. Very nearly got killed a couple of times, but just not quite. And the V-Hors and Vidras moving up, bit of a questionable decision. If there was better infantry there, it would be really kind of catastrophic. And these guys have 16 AP as well, so it's not exactly a slouch. And the V-Hors were moved up, and then I thought better of it and just decided, you know what? Yeah, they'll cut off the retreat of some other infantry, but if I can let them do that, and then move the Vidras up, and maybe just not risk the V-Hors for minimal gain here. I mean, this is, what, 30 points each again, right? So 60 points total. There's no sense losing a 130-point tank for that, and even losing the Vidras was definitely a really tough blow. That's why I said the 3 frontal armor, the armor on those guys is not exceptional, and 50 points of kills off of The Rovayit there was very, very nice for my opponent, and yeah, I was pretty sad about it. But the Rovayit are pretty much all that's remaining, and we do have the mortars now shooting in. Also, Proletary moving forward will be able to outduel Rovayit here in the woods pretty handily, you'd think. So 18 versus 17. Yeah, they're holding on pretty well, and if not for the rocket pods and M84AN, I don't know, sometimes woods fights are a little bit weird. They'll go really fast, or they'll go really slow, or they'll sort of go in unexpected ways based off of who engages who and when. So it can be a little bit tricky, but my Proletary that were forward, Proletary 90 are already dead. The remaining units of Proletary proper are going to just get pulled apart by Tsefabis. And this was really worrisome. So Boris is basically clear of troops. I spent most of my units pushing through, and yeah, I mean, killing the Axari Pakud was definitely a valuable thing. M91 Vihors being alive is also very valuable, shooting up on the high ground against those Rovayit. Stunned, nearly getting a kill. Let's see. Yeah, no, so we lose line of sight because one of my other Proletary was dead. Tsefai moving forward, and that Hera 2 is in a lot of danger there, trying to move him back, and another Kamikaze L17K going up. Oh man, I mean, yeah, that's at least 70 points, but it looks like, yep, we get the kill, L17K taken out by a Baz, and the Baz existing was something that is going to change things, so it means I can't really call in just these careless planes, these careless bombing runs as much as I could before, when that wasn't an issue. Padobranki moving forward, and I do apologize, I always read these guys as Radobranki. I'm learning a Slavic language at the moment, and capital P in Cyrillic is R, and yeah, I always read those as Radobranki, but then these are Proletary, I have no idea. So, Padobranki 90, some of the best units that Yugoslavia can field, 35 points each, and the boom bar is just amazing. Only wish they had a better tertiary. The M84 is good, but not, it's no mini-me. But the Vidras, again, proving their worth, taking down a helicopter with that secondary gun. I don't know why it's, well, I guess some vehicles have their ATGMs as their primary, but I guess it's more common as a secondary. And Proletary 90 engaging here in the woods is, yeah, it's not what you want, right? 50 points of infantry on my end, 20 points of infantry on his end, and even though I was trying to build this cheap deck with good, valuable, long-lasting infantry, I still wasn't quite able to do it cost-effectively. So we are engaging, and then we're going to pull back. Mortar's doing some work, and I'm trying to dodge any sort of retaliation, any sort of retaliatory fire there, and Boris is countercapped once again. So 89 points for Heinz, 182 for myself, as we did hold Boris for quite a while. But yeah, more Rovayit moving forward, and these guys just, well, yeah, you can see they did spot long enough that the artillery is going to be a problem. Either that or it was just a very nice prediction by Heinz, so yeah, not great. Safa B also being pushed up, and that's going to prompt my Vidros to move forward. I want to catch that Safa B again at the edge of Boris, and we do also spawn Rakava 3B here, so I knew it was there. It looks like just from Proletary, but Super Gallop going in, Baz coming to answer, and because we lost vision there, that Super Gallop's going to be one very unhappy plane. 130 points thrown down the toilet, so not exactly what you want to see. But I am prepping something else. The two M91 Vihors, we have a couple of Graniciari moving up and recon vehicles as well. These guys are not the best deal. They're 15 points, and let's see. Oh, not the Graniciari. Give me the recon vehicle again, and there it is. So 15 points. They are fast. They do have good optics, but not even very good optics, and you're paying for the wheels. You're paying for, I mean, yeah, you're paying for the good optics as well. It's not like it's a bad vehicle by any stretch, but it's usually what you can get for 10 points without the recon sort of tag, so not exactly worthwhile. Proletary moving up, and they are getting shot at. I was trying to shoot the gap into this town. Should have done it earlier, actually, looking at what was in this zone off the neutral section of the replay. Gregory was pretty lightly defended for a while. I tend not to realize sometimes when I fought my opponent to exhaustion, and this was definitely one of those cases. But the 3Bs holding, and my recon vehicles are definitely getting killed, but Sonic 95 spotted by the Vihors, spotted by the Proletary, and the Vihors are taking some revenge there. Kurnos coming in, and those electro-optical missiles are going to be really deadly, so I immediately try to pull back. But that was anticipated as well, and actually, the first bomb lands right on the top of this guy. The only reason he's still alive is 3 top armor and the fact that the second bomb was a little farther back than you usually would expect. So that push didn't work at all. Bunch of reasons for that. Not good enough AA, not good enough punch, and probably shouldn't have wasted the Proletary for it. Also should have gotten the smoke online beforehand. So a couple mistakes there, and that's push into Gregory is very much ill-advised. However, because Gregory is capped and Boris is counter-capped, Heinz is now taking out a +1, and this was such a back-and-forth fight, man. It was really a pleasure to play. Honestly, some of the ones that just go back and forth are, I don't know, I enjoy them. Now, however, I do have a Plum and S moving forward, and that's just an attempt to just hammer anything in that section of the woods. Rovi at 90 moving forward again, and it's interesting. I've talked about it before playing against some of my other friends, and I think at the moment he was really just projecting strength. So there's a single Mugaf back there, command vehicle Mugaf, Rovi at 90 moving forward, but look at how lightly held this section is compared to my grasp on it on the other side of Boris. Padobranki, Proletary 90, ODM 60 PBs, Vidras, Gonesiari, more Vidras, and yeah, I mean, it's working, right? So he's making me think that I'm losing on this side. He's making me think that there's so much stuff back there that I haven't been able to kill. And in the meantime, he's getting good kills on his own, just spotting my stuff and hammering it with artillery from afar. So Padobranki, surprisingly ineffective here. The Zelda's got a very nice stun, a very nice panic on those guys, and my boom bars were not able to be online because the M84 started firing first. Zelda's also moving up here, and one unit of Padobranki 90 is already dead. The other one is moving back, and that alone was just terrifyingly effective. But the Plum and S shooting again, Rovait taking it right on the chin, and that will secure the center bit of Boris for right now. So, moving into the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, of course there's 11 minutes, 12 minutes left, technically that could be played, but we're not going to have all of that today, and something has to change, right? So more artillery pounding in, Boris now being pushed even more aggressively by Heinz as his Rovait are fighting my Padobranki farther forward. Sanahim in the woods, and I mean, yeah, if they're duking it out with damaged Proletary, that fight's going to go exactly like you see right now, where the Proletary just kind of gets smacked. We do have Eyes on Merkava 3B, and this sort of gave me an idea, which we'll see here in a minute. But the Plum and S shooting in and hitting Rovait is very much not worth it, but it did stun that group. It allowed us to get some sort of victory there, even if short-lived. M91 V-Horse moving forward, but panicked, stunned, no, not stunned, just panicked. L19 able to go in and get out before that Baz is there, and that does, whenever you pull out your opponent's ASFs, even if they're evac ordered without shooting, you do have some small amount of time before they can be used again, which is kind of important sometimes. And meanwhile, I mean, Vidra's killing in Merkava 2A, geez, 25 points, and that Matliuka, 26 AP power right to the face, is able to get the job done. So that's why I like these guys in pairs. Sometimes you'll throw them into bad engagements and they won't exactly be worth it, but other times you'll get that sort of 90-point kill where it's, geez, yeah, I'll take that any day. Rovi at 90 are intercepted by Proletary and also more Vidras, and I'm trying to just get enough fire support online to hold that position for right now, so even more infantry moving up in OTAB 71s. These, of course, are the faster ones, 15 point, and this means that it's going to be more Sky Pechota. Yeah, I wanted some more recoilless rifles. I figured if they're going to go up and around, that could be a good thing, and the Plum and S just providing really dedicated fire support on that position. This is the game, by the way, I decided I don't really love the Arreo. One of them did die earlier, but I don't know. I think the Plum and S is just, it's, well, to quote a friend I've been playing with, it's an Arreo delivery system. Or rather, Oreos are just Plum and S delivery systems, and they're more expensive for the pleasure of it. The Plum and S has such a nice reload rate. It's obviously pretty excellent. But we are going to be pushing forward with not Morskaya, sorry, Britskaya Pez. Not really sure what the difference is in terms of the meaning of those, but yeah, Proletary also moving up, and Rovi at 90 in the town are going to intercept. When I said I should have pushed Gregory earlier, it's because these guys were not there. So had I moved earlier on, I actually might have been able to get into the town and taken out that ATGM team that is still there, has been since the beginning of the game, and I don't know, if I'd gotten a howitzer, or if I'd gotten particularly creative with the Plum and S, we might have been able to kill it. But as it stands, no luck in that regard. So, sorry for the jump cut. I've had a bit of a problem recently where my screen is just sort of exited out, and I don't really know why. But something worth noticing now is Heinz has actually held the +1 long enough. He's up. So 194 points to 182, and my OT tab able to get the kill. Jeez. on the Mugaf, so also on Oshkosh, so very valuable tab 71 there. Stunning a Siphon on his way by, and we have Recap Boris. But that's not a +1 for me, that's just neutral, and there's a lot of fierce fighting going on here, so Brdskaya Pez and their recoilless rifles trying to get range, but stunned, moving back into the woods while my other units are moving forward again. And I really need to hold Boris this time. I can't afford to be pushed out again and again and again because, I mean, just the continual capping there has been brutal. And this is Conquest. It doesn't matter if you're up on kills. It matters if you hold the field. So L19 evac ordered, trying to get away from a Baz. Second missile on the way, and it is a hit. 4 points of strength left, but we do get out, and that Baz is also able to get out because my anti-air AA net is always horrible. I rely on ASFs for that way too much. But Rovai are getting shot, and this is again the V-Hordes in that back position there, so in case you didn't know, there's a wonderful sightline right up that slope. That can be truly vicious to deal with from time to time. But Brdskaya Pez and Proletary dealing with Merkava 2A, and we actually do get a kill, which is very nice. Proletary getting a pretty good shot there, better than I expected. But Sanakim 95, and that's 50 points of shock infantry moving forward against line infantry in 2 groups. Not really going to be a winning fight for me, and I was just sitting here watching that go again and again. But we do have something interesting. A couple M91 V-Hordes and M84A, another, M91A V-Horde anchoring that side, and I know there's a heavy tank back here, I know there's ATGM teams, we're getting smoke on the way there, but it's just sheer numbers, sheer just firepower, I guess, trying to move in on this side, and there's the Merkava 3B, M91 V-Hordes, one of them immediately killed. But, yeah, no damage on this guy yet. Let's see what we can do. M84A shooting, 4 points, M91A V-Horde, 1 point of strength left off that 3B. I don't know why he's not using his main gun. Yeah, we do get him just before he's able to open up again, and another Mugaf spotted and killed on this side does give us a +1. Actually, yeah, +1 as Boris is held, and my tanks get up here, and this is beautiful. So, watch this V-Horde for a second. I'm trying to retreat them back. We do have one of them killed by a Kurnos, so that's going to be the M91 V-Horde, 130 point tank. And this guy, his retreat order goes the wrong direction, so he's going up this hill, just in reverse, like a true Mad Lad, getting shot at now. So we spot something. This was actually another Bergoff, so another command vehicle killed there. This was Merkava 2A, shooting and shot, killed. And then there's a Hammer, there's Sanahim, and I mean, now we're reversing the other wrong way. And I was just sitting there going, you know what? If you're going to reverse up a slope before killing a command vehicle and a tank and Sanahim, and then just nice and chill move back to your own stuff, move back to your own side of the field, this guy deserves a promotion. So, Sazar, I guess, is the closest I can get to pronouncing his name. He needs a promotion. That M91 AV Horde just, oh, beautiful, beautiful work there. Speaking of needing a promotion, though, these Brdskaya Pez, 1 man left, right? 14 rounds left in that recoilless rifle. This guy is carrying it. He has all 3 guns. He has a Sedek and recoilless rifle on his back, and he's just powering through the woods here. 1 man on a mission. Oof. Let's see what he can do. And we do finally... Oh, where is it? Yep, Oxidate Pakud down to 6. Somehow not moved. Brdskaya not quite reacted to by my opponent quite yet. And second shot down to 1. Third shot, and oh, swing and a miss. But I think, yep, here's an Arreo 2. We do get the Mugaf on the other side, and the Brdskaya Pez take down that other one. And at this point, Heinz told me that he's just out of command vehicles. We've killed so many that the only one he had left was in Dimitri. In terms of kills and losses, it's going to be 35-80 for the Red 4 team and 27-15 for Blue. So a bit wider margin than I was expecting based off of how that game started. I think a fair number of this, we killed like 5 or 6 command vehicles, and that's going to make up that difference pretty well. So I think it was just, when he pushed me back, my command vehicle was safe. When I pushed him back, his command vehicle tended to die. And that just made incremental value until the game was over. So in terms of units that did very well, M84AN did really great work. This was the one that was over on the left-hand side there, pushing forward, moving back, pushing forward, moving back. M84A definitely did not, but Brdskaya Pez did pretty well. Yeah, I know these guys aren't commonly used, but that's a lot of kills on Zeldas, a lot of kills on Rovai, and the screening ability off something like that for Yugoslavia, I think, definitely addresses one of the potential shortcomings of their deck. So, M84AN, another one just doing great work. Lots of infantry kills, lots of vehicle kills, even a Macbeth. This was also the other one over there on the left-hand side, particularly the one that moved forward a bit farther and got the Macbeth kill. And now we can see M91 Vihor did kill a Bakud, second Bakud killed by Proletary 90. Let's find the other ones. Let's see, Magov killed by an OTEB 71. That has to be the most valuable OTEB 71 ever. 15 points of transport vehicle killing a command vehicle. M91 AV Horde got 2 Magovs. This is the one that's reversed up the slope. And that's Sazar. Give that man promotion. 2 Magovs, Merkava 2A, and a Hammer. And then finally, 2 more kills on command vehicles, 1 from the Areo 2, and 1 from the Brdskaya Pez. So that's what? That's going to be 220, nearly 400, 550-ish, 560-ish points there, 600 some points, 700 some points. And yeah, most of the difference in kills losses is going to be from command vehicles. So very nicely played to Heinz. It was a back and forth game until the very, very end. Thank you guys all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.